Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. Um, I just I had to talk to the Lord this morning because I hadn't excuse me. Giving you the latest that I had was October the 26th, 2012. This is about the martial law. Now, I've prayed already to ask the Lord to bless those who listen to this and those who have not received salvation, that they please do so. That our Redeemer does live. Okay? Now, I had a dream about the takeover of many citizens in America by martial law. I saw many who became zombies by a chip implant. And I saw a mixed military who looked to be dressed like Green Berets or Black Ops, with guns and heavily armed, herding the people into long lines of microchip implanting. No rights, no more rights as an individual, okay? And no more choices you will make for your life. They will give you a guideline of when you work and who you work for like slaves. And I saw many running away and the military coming after them with any means of, necessary. Excuse me. My throat feels like cotton. Many that started out saying they won't get the chip ended up getting it. And some were going to get it and wouldn't take it. No matter what. Okay, food was scarce and given to you through controlled conditions. Okay, it was issued out. Once people got the chip, it was like they weren't in control of their bodies. No longer in public, but only those who are of the body of Christ. Here is the other dream last year. Just giving you some comparison. Okay. See, that dream was very intense. The last one the one that I just told you about. It was, wow. I mean, it was like nobody was at home in the people's eyes. It was like people were controlled like Stepford wives or Stepford husbands. It seems like there was no husband and wife thing anymore. It was like they broke up the families too. It was just all like you just robot or used goods until, you pass away. So it's kind of like they just use you like machines. And this chip has so much control that a person's emotions, what God had given you, was no longer usable anymore. It was all in the chip, all controlled by the beast. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, I'll give you some examples. I've already put this video up, but I'm going to remind you that June 16, 2011, was another military takeover. This was before the one that I just told. Okay. I dreamed about military coming in and taking people from their homes and using their original IDs to scan. But they have to go to the next step for identification. There are changing identification procedures. This is installing the mark of the beast, and they will be making this look easy as Social Security. But military will be monitoring everyone, and especially those who won't be ushered to get it. The military will enforce this new ID. It appears that we are taken over by military of our nation first, then ushering everyone to prison, then taking the mark. Some have escaped this because they prepared for this. I saw that there are people who knew ahead of time when this would take place and was gone in the rapture. Those who are here gone into their hiding shelters and food. Well, hiding shelters with their food. I was just an onlooker, not someone who was there. So in this dream, I was an onlooker. There was no no significance of me being here, you know. So I assumed that the rapture took place first. And the woman I seemed to be seeing quite often in his dream was Chinese or Asian descent. And she was rather petite, but she was trying to figure out how she was going to get out of this. She was in prison like everyone else. And she thought she would use her beauty to manipulate, and she did. And I seen her ID up close in the dream, and it looked worn and dirty, like there was a hardship. She had hardship with it, you know, it was all dirty and all that stuff that they show on television is actually real. They're making a mockery of the masses, okay? People are sitting back watching this as entertainment, and they're watching their own demise. This is what they don't understand. You're watching your own demise. When you watch another show, you need to do your homework and research. So when you watch these movies that you are running out to go pay for and go watch, yeah, make sure that you get something out of it, because there's truth there. They mix truth with some lies and a little bit of comedy to make you be entertained. But you need to use your head. But most of all, you're gonna have to seek the Lord for truth, okay? For the Holy Spirit to show you and guide you into all truth, okay? Moving on. All right. She thought that she would use her beauty to manipulate, and she did. And I seen her ID up close in the dream, and it was worn and dirty. Okay, people were turning to desperate measures. Okay, when they pulled, when the military man pulled her out of jail, I saw that she got to the person in command in such a way. She was given some leeway, okay, to go along to the next procedure of identification. But she was trying to find a way to detour. She knew if she reached that area, they would insert this new ID. And she kept thinking about the mark of the beast and how she will never receive it, okay? Because her friends who gave her that knowledge are gone. They're gone in the rapture, okay? They're missing. It's a lot of people that are gone that are not going through this. And she knew they were sad and she wasn't. And all she can remember is what they said to her, the message that they kept giving her. So she was actually warned, okay? So there will be many that were actually warned. I mean, just like a lot of us who are watchmen on the wall, and we sound the alarm, we're loud and clear. We're giving out the message boldly, and we're delivering our Father's message, okay? But there are some people that just right now, at this moment, will not receive it. So, anyway, moving on. She remembered what they said about these days, which used to be the future. Back then, became reality, okay? She was going over the scenario to die if she is caught getting away. The military came into all the neighborhoods, and some were taken to prison and released to their homes after receiving a new ID. Only those who received it were allowed to return home. And there were many who did not return home, but died for not taking this new ID. I got the message that when she was talking to the commander in charge, that the next step determines if you live or die. This is happening all over the nation. You know, so when people think they can go and run to another place and move from one place to another, it's just nowhere to hide. I was given that message by the Lord even at the beginning of 2011. He said, when he showed me a whole, I mean, this was 3 pages, you know, I had 3 videos that belonged to this message, 1, 2, and 3. And he said there will not be anywhere to hide, because as I was watching all this stuff, I watched the East Coast, the West Coast, everything that was coming near the coastlines of the water. And there was a lot of significance to why they were going through the wrath of God. Okay. Like I said, I got the message that when she was talking to the commander in charge, that the next step determines if you live or die. Okay, this happened all over the nation. Now I saw someone I knew in the dream. They were in-laws. And I don't know if they were used, symbolically. But from a previous marriage in my brother's life. Okay, basically, I saw, family, their mother, and the whole thing on that side. She was coming home and going to sit down and live like she did before, because I guess she got the mark. Because it was like, I take this as there are going to be family that takes the mark. I mean, some of you are going to be really surprised, especially if those of you who already talked it over and said they wouldn't. They're going to be surprised at the people that they see that have already taken it. So, because this was my reaction when I saw this in the dream. She was coming home, going to sit down and live like she did before. Because I guess she got the mark. It was like they just looked at it. Like, no problem. Just do it and go on type of thing. And this woman appeared to be looking for people she know that are marked. Okay? But won't expose her. I mean, yeah. She was this woman. So basically, when I saw my in-laws, this was probably like symbolic of those that she knew. And she thought since they had the mark, they can help her still have food and live, but she didn't want to receive the mark. She thought she would just pretend she was one of them. One of them to sleep there. And she was sort of scared to ask for shelter. The military had guns and was blocking neighborhoods, cities, and states. And travel, stopping people from traveling. Okay, no one was allowed to go anywhere. There was more to it. But I can't get all the details. I just know that you couldn't go in or out wherever you're from. I remember what God wanted me to know. The people's rights are violated to no return, taken over by our own military and government. I don't care what job you have or how much you accomplish. This is going to put everybody in the same bracket, like pigs to a slaughter. Okay? Cooperate or, This is why everybody's career is in vain. And all this stuff is to keep you busy, to make you think you are doing something. Climbing the corporate, or getting to the corporate man, quote unquote. I mean, people are running around here buying new cars, buying new this. They're going to own everything you ever worked for. Everything you do is all in vain. As Ecclesiastes say, there's nothing new under the sun. Okay? Making people think the decision and opinion that matters, and it's all a hoax just to keep your eyes off them. To keep your eyes off of God, okay? The big picture is our top politicians and elites are taken by the fallen ones, okay? So, they never intended for anyone to become all they can be. And if you did, then you pay Big Brother to live lavish in this world. Okay? So, here's a verse here. Psalms 2:2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. Saying. Okay? Acts 4:26. The kings of the earth stood up, and the rulers were gathered together against the Lord and against his Christ. So that's it, friends, and I hope that you are blessed. And if you didn't hear me, I'm sorry, because my voice is kind of raspy, but I hope that you got the message, and may God bless you and your family, and that you receive our Redeemer. If you haven't, please give your life to Christ today, okay? All right. Have a blessed day.